tourism and wildlife and antiquities. Ambassador, my colleague from Beijing, Mr. Dr. Dei Bing, President of the China Tourism Academy and Director of the Data Center of the China Ministry of Tourism, representatives of the Chinese travel agencies, also guests from other ministries of Uganda and the companies at the symposium today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. It is my great privilege to join you all here today in a launch of Uganda-China Tourism and Cultural Symposium hosted by the Ministry and the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Uganda. This symposium enables the representatives of the tourism industries, both in China and Uganda, to gather together for the first time, share experiences in tourism development in each country, discuss opportunities of investment, and promote the tourism and cultural cooperation between China and Uganda. I sincerely wish this symposium be a big success and become a milestone for China-Uganda cooperation in the tourism sector, and thus injecting new energy to China-Uganda friendship. 特别是要对我们来自这个北京戴斌院长以及呢他所率领的这个咱们旅行社的代表团来这里这个参观访问。Honorable Minister and ladies and gentlemen, I wish to extend my appreciation to you and the Ministry for the continuous productive engagement that we had for recent years, which has finally led to the proposal of organizing today's event. My thanks also goes to the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in China and China Tourism Academy for the valuable support in making the event possible. In June 2023, at the invitation of your Honorable Minister, I had the chance to briefly tour Semuliki Valley Forest and Rwenzori Mountains National Park. Although it is impossible to complete the tour of even one national park within 1 or 2 days, because Uganda's national park is so big. For example, if you go to the Murchison National Park, the road across the national park is around 170 kilometers. So it's a very, very big national park. However, I was truly impressed by the beauty of the scenery, the rich resources of tourism in Uganda, and long history that comes with it, and the great potentiality of tourism in shaping the socio-economic transformation in Uganda. The brief trip has consolidated my belief to do something to promote the cooperation between China and Uganda in the tourism sectors. Last June, the Embassy and the Ministry jointly launched China-Uganda Tourism Season with a dragon boat race to celebrate the traditional Chinese Dragon Boat Festival. The race had attracted both Chinese and Ugandan participants to compete near the shore of Lake Victoria. Although China and Uganda have different traditions, we have the same concept to integrate the history, culture, and modern civilization into tourism development. Uganda's beauty is unmatched, with great scenery, rich flora and fauna, variety of birds and animals, and breathtaking climate in the world. Uganda reserves with exotic animals, unique cultural sites, and warmth of the Ugandan people. Uganda understands the power and potential of tourism in creating wealth, advancing prosperity, and in promoting a socio-economic transformation. And Uganda regards tourism as one of the 4 pillars in a socio-economic transformation. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, in China, tourism is playing an important role. Tourism has experienced a robust revival in the year 2024, signaling a dynamic comeback after lifting of the pandemic-induced restrictions. And according to data from the UN Tourism, the Chinese outbound tourism market was a global powerhouse, with Chinese travelers making 155 million trips abroad and spending an impressive 255 billion, that's the data before the COVID, in the year 2019. This level of expenditure has positioned China as the world's largest source of international tourists, fueling the global economies. During last year's National Day holiday, a 7-day vacation, the number of outbound tourism trips reached 3.8 million. Countries such as Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, which offers visa-free entry to Chinese citizens, have become popular destinations. Belt Road partner countries have also been popular among Chinese tourists. Countries like South Africa, Egypt, Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and others are actively targeting the Chinese tourism market by offering more convenient services to attract more Chinese tourists. Belt Road partner countries, including Uganda, have also seen an increase in the share of the Chinese outbound tourism market last year. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, under the strong guidance of Chinese President Xi Jinping and Ugandan President Museveni, China and Uganda bilateral relations are at their best time in history. The recent FOCAC meeting was held successfully at a critical moment as China and African countries embarks on a new journey to realize modernization. During the summit, President Xi Jinping announced 10 partnership actions for modernization. These 10 partnership action covers 10 areas of cooperations, including the partnership action for mutual learning among civilizations, for trade prosperity, for industrial chain cooperation, for connectivity, for development cooperation, for health, for agriculture and livelihoods, for people-to-people exchanges, for green development, and for common security. These 10 partnership actions for modernization maps out goals, tasks, and priority areas for China-Africa cooperation in the coming 3 years. And during the summit, China and Uganda have jointly confirmed to elevate our relationship, strategic cooperative partnership based on the consensus of our 2 presidents and the will of our 2 countries. Her Excellency Vice President Jessica Alopo, as representative of His Excellency President Museveni, witnessed the signing of a series of bilateral pragmatic cooperation agreements between China and Uganda. And as one of the outcomes of that summit, I'm happy to let you know that on the last day of the year 2024, the first batch of 1,084 kilograms of dried wild Nile perch mole from Uganda arrived in China by air. China opens green lanes for African agricultural products to fast-track importation. And we hope the policy unleash the potential of African agri-products and strengthen our trade ties. China is willing to work with Uganda closely to deepen tourism cooperation, tap the potential of tourism in promoting socio-economic transformation, and encourage more Chinese tourists to visit Uganda to further enhance cultural and people-to-people exchanges. And I have some special observations on the tourism development in Uganda. And so here I have several proposals for cooperation and for your discussions. First of all, China and Uganda should enhance cooperation among the tourism sectors in both countries. And today's face-to-face interactions, I think the event will be arranged this afternoon, between the tour operators of the two countries is a good start. I wish through these interactions, more cost-efficient and affordable tour products and routes shall be designed to meet the different needs of the tourists from China, such as a vacational camp for the youth. I find many young people interested in the vacational camp in Uganda because Uganda has a variety of the bird species, animals, plants. So it's a very good place to learn the knowledge. Second, capacity building for tourism sector should be enhanced. And in this area, China is willing to support capacity building of Uganda for tourism through tourism training programs and experience sharing in tourism development. And as a matter of fact, last year we already organized a group of people from Uganda to attend these tourism training programs. It's a short-term training programs. In this regard, both sides can learn from each other. For example, Uganda has a time-honored national park system. And if you go to the east, go to the west, and this time our tour operators have opportunity to go to the western part. In other parts, there are also national parks. For example, the Murchison National Park, the Murchison Falls. Murchison National Park is one of the oldest national park in Uganda, tracing back to the 1920s, when the natural reserve was established around that time. And then in 1950s, 60s, it was designated as a national park. And it is one of the matured national park in Uganda. So in the national park system, I think Uganda has gained a lot of useful experiences and practices on issues of how to coordinate the development and the ecosystem protection, how to handle the issue of the conflict between the animals and the human beings and residents living in that park. For example, there's some big animals like elephant. It could pose damages to the crops of the residents living in that area. So Uganda has some experiences, rich experiences in handling these issues. But in China, I think that the national park system has just started. That's only a history like 10 years, if my memory is right. So China can learn a lot from Uganda in the building up of the national parks. Third, China and Uganda should work closely in facilitating travels, such as payment options and convenience. Here in Uganda, we use Momo for payment. We need other payment options. Visa applications, immigration and custom facilitation, direct flights at an early date. We are anxiously looking forward to a direct flight from Entebbe to Guangzhou. We had long-term discussions, even before the COVID. When I arrived here, it was amid among the COVID time, and we already discussed the direct flight from Entebbe to Guangzhou. I think almost everything is ready, except for some technical issues. We hope that direct flight can be realized at an early date. Health facilities and safety measures for travelers. Tourism promotion should be enhanced to correct the misconception on Uganda. Uganda is a safe place for all travelers. But there are some misconceptions among many Chinese. They think Uganda has many, health problems like malaria issues. They need more information on these issues, and we needed to let them know that Uganda has made a lot of progress, and travelers here are safe. People here are healthy. You have the best climate. Most Chinese who come here, either for short-term or long-term, for business or tourism, and the most impressive things for them is the best climate. And most of them don't want to leave and always want to come back to Uganda. So we need to promote Uganda more frequently. Let them know that Uganda is a safe place, and government here will provide all the convenience to the tourists. In the meantime, we can establish a regular mechanism of safety between the embassy and the Ministry of Tourism, so that a rapid and efficient response shall be provided whenever there is a need for help. Fourth, more resources should be allocated to improve the infrastructure for tourism. We will continue to encourage Chinese companies to invest in tourism accommodation, restaurants, facilities in the destinations, and other infrastructures. And I'm very happy to see that Chinese investors here who have, they have other investment in the industry, in industrial parks, and they turn to invest in the tourism infrastructures, like building high-end hotels. So they have already developed some tourism route for receiving the Chinese tourists. I think that they can work better, work more closely with the Chinese tour operators from China in the future. And we hope, of course, that Uganda continue to take effective measures to provide an enabling business environment and, most importantly, some favorable policies for these investors. Last but not least, once again, let me wish Uganda-China Tourism and Cultural Symposium a big success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. That was quite a very good reflection of Uganda, and very good words of direction in where we should be going in terms of improving this relationship, but also building onto the tourism industry of the two countries, and particularly that of Uganda, that is very much interested in this partnership. Allow me at this point to also invite our ambassador to China, Ambassador Oneka. Please do come and also say hello to these people.
Ni hao. Honorable Minister, Madam PS, Your Excellency Ambassador of China to Uganda, dear friends from China, friends from Uganda, it's a great day for us seated here to be talking about tourism as one of those areas where China and Uganda should continue to engage and express that partnership and friendship that we have built over the last 62 years. We've had diplomatic relationship with China from 1962, when we got independence, just 8 days after our independence, we struck this relationship. So through tourism can we continue to express our friendship. Indeed, tourism for Uganda, big potential. But how do we transform this potential into better livelihoods, better life for all of us? It's through this kind of engagement. And tourism, the way we are seated here, it's not only Chinese coming to Uganda. Ugandans should go to China. You're welcome to China. We have the Great Wall, for example. Realization of the strategic partnership that China and Uganda enjoy is through what we are talking about today, through tourism as one of those avenues. Tourism in China is for real. Inbound tourism, people go to the Great Wall, they enjoy their own natural endowment. And I think we have to learn from that. Well, come to China and see how the China, from His Excellency the Ambassador's remarks, is the world's biggest outbound source of tourists. Where is Uganda in this? Tourism from the Chinese friends. Talking about FOCAC, we had a successful summit last September. Plans that His Excellency the Ambassador has just mentioned. I would like to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency Ambassador Jean for the support, relentless support that he provided the Ugandan delegation and a table tennis champion of China, 10 years old, called Sophia. I asked Sophia, you have been traveling the world as a champion. Have you been to Uganda? She asked me, where is that? I said, in Africa. Well, in Africa? Oh no, Africa is too dangerous. No, Africa is too dangerous. 10-year-old. And I thought I have a lot of work to do here in China. Thank you very much, and please have a successful symposium. I am here to learn from the processes, and I promise.
Olivia Woneka, and we thank you for the representations you do to us, for us out there in China, and the friendships that you continue to build to respond to any emergency in case we have it. And indeed, tourism is a two-way, as we call upon our Chinese friends. So thank you so much, ambassadors, for those good words, setting the stage for our. Allow me to introduce 2006 and 2007, his unesteemed professor, giving us the keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, may we welcome Dr. Dai Bin.
大使、莫妮卡大使，各位中乌两国旅游业界的同事、媒体朋友，经中国文化和旅游部批准，在中国驻乌干达大使馆、东南、远景、华晨、春秋、康辉、易游等中国最著名的旅行商代表，顺利地首访了非洲珍珠。在坎巴拉这座拥有灿烂的文化遗产，我和我的同事受到了各方面的热情接待，特别是刚才如下共识：旅游在中非人文崛起、为发展而兴的全球南方的振兴之路上，旅游在中非人文发展而兴的。旅游将发挥更加重要的作用，在中乌两国外交、旅游、文化、移民、民航等部门的共同努力下，乌干达在不久的将来，我相信将成为，也一定会成为中国出境旅游的重要目的地，以及中非旅游交流合作的示范案例。因为中非旅游交流有历史经验，更有现实基础。 出国旅游尤为人民所向往。在中国的史，他们留下了2本书，中国人留下的叫《居民的认识和了解》，大大的超过。
And developmental steps. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, all the nations 5 principles of China-Africa relations and 8 principles of the Chinese foreign aid, laying the political foundation for the development China-Africa relations. In March 2013, President Xi Jinping made his first visit to Africa, emphasizing that China and Africa have always been a community of shared destiny, bound together by common historical experiences, common development tasks, and common strategic interests. He also introduced the principles of sincerity, real results, amity, and good faith for China-Africa friendship, cooperation, providing guidance for the further deepening and development of China-Africa relations. From the construction of Tazara Railway to the implementation of the G20's debt service suspension initiative, from the promoting of participation of African countries and the African Union communication in the Belt and Road Initiative to summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, and the increasing number of African countries joining the BRICS or becoming BRICS partner countries. China-Africa Cooperation has made steady progress. In 2024, the Beijing summit at the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation adopted the Beijing Declaration on jointly building all-weather China-Africa community with shared future for the new era, and the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation Beijing Action Plan, providing an action blueprint for China-Africa cooperation, including with Uganda. President Xi Jinping at the opening ceremony of the Beijing summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation announced that China has elevated its bilateral relations with all African countries to a strategic level, and that the overall position of China-Africa relations has been upgraded to an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era. Now, political mutual trust is the foundation of the China for the Mao Zedong and Deng Xiaoping, Xi Jinping, that it all help to build this. After nearly 70 years of hard work, China-Africa relations are now at their best historical period. Now, let's go to China-Africa development, tourism cooperation. China, from the 70 years of hard work, relations are now at their best historical period. In recent years, China's enterprises have built and upgraded nearly 10,000 kilometers of the roads. From his 10,000 kilometers of railways, nearly 1,000 bridges, and nearly 100 ports in Africa from Kampala. Railway kilometers is also gained for the Chinese continent, so transportation network. It is predictable that with the continued implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative, the pace of infrastructure improvement in Africa will accelerate, providing a more solid hardware foundation for the deepening of China-Africa tourism exchanges and cooperation. All signs point to the fact that China-Africa tourism, railway, and tourism exchanges and cooperation are the fact that tourism and exchanges in China-Africa are entering a historic period of scale growth and quality improvement. Yes, the National China-Africa Culture Focus and understanding culture and artistic impressions from 53 African countries, along with major cities have joined alliance mechanics such as Silk Road Integration of Teachers, Silk Road International Museum Alliance, Network of Silk Roads Arts Festivals, Silk Road Alliance Red and and Fund. In terms of tourism exchanges, China has signed bilateral tourism cooperation attachments with 31 African countries and established 166 sister city partnerships with African nations.
中国公民免签入境非洲国家地区已经有4个，陆地签的有12个。
Yes, 12 offer visa arrival services that 4 African countries have regions offer visa-free entry to Chinese citizens. It's very important. Is increasing plague key Africa culture exchanges. The number of tourist visas. In sum of 2024, bookings for Chinese tourists visiting Africa nearly doubled compared to the previous year, bookings by 168% as emerging overseas tourist destination. Uganda, known as the Pearl of Africa's destination. Uganda, known as the Pearl of Africa, has garnered. And in September 2024, the Crew Conferences also decided that the cooperative training, tourism and cooperation. 24, the Dragon Board is held at the Lake and the China-Africa Uganda Tourism Exchange and Cooperation, entering a new strategic opportunity period. Uganda is, with its rich national resources, unique culture, charm and active involvement in multilateral cooperation mechanisms such as the FOCAC, which is the Forum for China-Africa Affiliations. BRICS has the potential to becoming pioneering area and model for China-Africa tourism cooperation. Look at the table. The potential for Chinese tourists visit Uganda is considerable. According to 2024, the 2.9% of Chinese outbound tourists visit Africa, meaning that fewer than 3 out of every 100 Chinese outbound tourists travel to China. And among those visiting Africa, Chinese tourists generally have a positive perception. Chinese tourists generally have a positive perception of Uganda and are attracted by its unique charm. Uganda has 10 national parks, and some are endangered with mountain gorillas, making it a paradise. Adventure lovers. With the nurturing of Lake Victoria, Uganda enjoys a pleasant climate and rich biodiversity, making it an ideal destination for harmonious coexistence between humans and nature. When it comes to Lake Victoria, Chinese mainstream social media platforms, Uganda is often described as Chinese netizens and underrated travel destinations, and Uganda with China tourists experience the country with improvements in the road transportation. And then we can't decide that what you've forgotten about Uganda, you can't forget about Uganda. They still say Uganda is still the best country in Africa and best African country to deal with standard and very private travel, being noticeable growth in town that has Chinese tourists visiting Uganda for independent travel. At the same time, it's noted that Uganda still has considerable room for improvement in areas such as national tourism promotion, road construction, transportation infrastructure, and urban places. Uganda is still the best and considerable place for improvement in so many areas or national areas that can be improved. Getting to this place, you can see that the tourism promotion and market transportation that you see like China is 40%. Not enough. Chinese tourist understanding of Uganda is still shallow and brand recognition is insufficient. Outside the capital city, tourists often take a rush trip. According to big data monitoring by the China tourism, Chinese tourists spend on average. Our thinking is last year, in 2024, Uganda had over 3 pounds, and Uganda has 3.0 issues such persons. Yes. Misrepresentations, Chinese students lack issues are poor roads, condition, lack of digital payment portions, incorporate current exchange, and use your phone to check out unsatisfactory situation, maybe at gas stations and restrooms. And still, my friend told me that so the petrol stations and other places still do not have digital payment, which is an unsatisfactory sanitation at gas and restrooms. We still somewhat affected the tourist experience and satisfaction, the uncertainty surrounding land ownership systems, and their implementation of the land issues also impacts the enthusiasm of investors in Uganda's tourism industry. And lastly, let me talk about promoting sustaining growth and high quality development of Uganda-China tourism. Increasing efforts in tourism promotion and policy coordination for the Chinese market. We think that organization and that they have it. Some people have not come to Uganda, and Uganda still have a lot of tourism exhibitions, and they still have a lot of seminars, promotional events that can strengthen the emotional connections between travel agents in both countries and create new opportunities for business cooperation. Uganda-China Tourism and Culture Exposition with the Ugandan Railway Cultural Symposium. We'll say that it will be held today. It serves as an excellent platform to foster high quality collaboration among institutions, investment travels and travel agents, and circular innovations. The Uganda-China Tourism and Culture Symposium of 2025 serves as a very, very high platform to help society and to doing collaborations, innovations after. Thank you very much. If you come here for us, for today we have our ambassador from the Chinese embassy. If you come live, we still recommended that the friendly cities mechanism in the promoting exchanges species of Beijing, Guangzhou, and all local cities that come to Entebbe that go to Wuhan. Because Jinja, you can see from Jinja, it is helps Uganda tourism promotion both now and in the near future. So this person here, this one, if you come to Jinja, you can see that you can come to Jinja and see what the tourism industry is about in Jinja. These can offer valuable insights from the experience of different transport contacts. Take them that in Japan, that the one that are in Uganda, which are either good or not. Also, it is recommended to enhance the cross-border research from citizens because you can still use from Mbarara, the sister city, Sanya, still bands of Chinese tourists. Because now I've just seen the Ugandan Ugandan students who look like they are from Makerere University Confucius Institute, who have come to exhibit the culture that we Chinese can already, and sometimes to address the real concerns of Chinese forests, it's also essential to strengthen the development of many places. Moreover, promote cooperation among its investments.